automobile sectors, right? Because for the Bank of England to bail out, what do they have to do? They have to get money from somewhere to bail out their citizens, and who they get it from? They got it from Rothschild, and that's how he came up. That's how he took it over. Just like the Federal Reserve, same operation. Pulling off this financial coup de grace, which amounted to the rescue of the entire economy of the British Empire, which was solidly founded on the enslavement of African people. He's going off, not African people, Israelite people. The enslavement and also the genocide of the indigenous peoples. Because where the British go? They went up here. They're trading in gold with the Spanish, who are going and taking gold and all this, everything. Mr. Nathan Rothschild became the unchallenged master of Europe. This bailout marks a watershed in history as it ended the dominion of the landed gentry, who were the main slaveholding families, so like the ruling elite of the time, and established a hegemony of the capitalists, the bankers who loaned gold and bills of exchange. So, okay, I'll keep going. As the landed gentry had to go to a banking cap in hand, their loan shark set a new term for governance. This new template is what we know today as capitalism, the rule of the capitalist. So just like when America got rid of its slave ownership structure in the South, what happened? Everything became now the Federal Reserve notes. Everyone has to go to the same bank to get money. So these capitalists came up. So even the landed gentry, they had their own autonomy, their own independence for a time, because they had their own real liquid assets. Now you have to go get goddamn Federal Reserve notes. All right. So that's how they took it. That's how they took it over. And they started with Britain, and they went throughout the whole world. And now there's only 3 banks. They say it's North Korea, Iran, and Cuba without a Rothschild-owned bank. Which, I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what's the knowledge that they put out there right now. Because me personally, I think they run it all, right? It says capitalism and international and spread across the entire shores of the U.S. violently. Yeah. Now, Freshfield, another double. All right, James William Freshfield was an English lawyer and founded the international law firm of Freshfields. He was a conservative politician and member of Parliament. All right, he was appointed joint solicitor for the Bank of England in 1819. And he did that for 20 years. He was a prominent member of the Church Missionary Society. Okay, and the very same society which is misrepresented as the main force behind the abolition of slavery in the now defunct British Empire. So, he was a prominent member of the abolitionist group, right? The newly discovered records revealed that the City of London lawyer and financier and his sons and several slave owner clients, mostly based in the Caribbean, all right, they were routinely involved in slavery-related profiteering activities as well. The Freshfield lawyers had a reputation for advising slave-owning families, corporations, financial institutions, and governments in all areas, all right, touching on the commercial fiscal aspects of the legal slavery framework. These guys were experts in the whole thing. They interpreted the law. They probably got laws written because they were members of Parliament, so they're working within the government, creating all the laws to do what they needed to do. So them and Rothschild had it all down to a T. They knew we're going to abolish it, but we're going to go into this way. So they can totally have complete control of everybody and own everything. They even own you. So they're the only slave owners. The eminent lawyers acted as trustees of the slave owners' estates. They also acted in cohort with the Rothschild in setting up the financial framework of that move Britain from a slave-owning land gentry-dominated empire to a capitalist economy. So this is pretty much created capitalism, right? This is what this guy's saying, which I agree with. Because this is the first time ever in history everything was based upon notes that one person gets to print out. The king could write notes, but at the end of the day, they went by gold as a standard. or gold or silver as a standard. In Rome, they had a denarius, but they still had slaves. They still had other ways. It wasn't all based on the denarius, even though they started diluting that. Okay, they acted as lawyers for slave-owning families and companies and processing their claims for government bailouts following the abolition of slavery. In one case, it even sought unpaid legal fees for the firm through the government scheme set up to compensate those slave owners after abolition. So what do? They set the bill on the government, who was the power to tax the everyday people, to pay them back for what they spent to keep making more money. So they just got even more rich. They're like, okay, yeah, we're doing good with the slave owning thing, but we can be even richer and even more powerful if we got rid of these people and just owned them all as slaves, which is exactly what they did, right? So this guy says, this is good. Their legal wizardry provided counsel to the likes of Rothschilds and his other associates as they designed the present fiscal, financial, and political framework that is called capitalism. All right. So I'm going to bring some scriptures out on Esau real quick. It says, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they carried away captive the whole captivity, to deliver them up to Edom. But I will send a fire on the wall of Gaza, which shall devour the palaces thereof, and I will cut off the inhabitant from Ashdod, and him that holdeth the scepter of Ashkelon, and will turn out my hand against Ekron, and the remnant of the Philistines shall perish, saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom, and remembered not the brotherly covenant. So that's what you so-called white people did, right? You put the whole nation in captivity, and you didn't remember the brotherly covenant. But I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, which shall devour the palaces thereof, right? Excuse me. Because Esau, you're the brother of Jacob. You're supposed to be our brother, but you're the goddamn devil. You're the evil twin. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. And I send fire upon Teman, and shall devour the palaces of Basra. Right? Because this whole time you were making money, right? Doing all this, but you never let your foot off. You kept killing us. Even after you supposedly freed our people, you kept putting our people to death, torturing, terrorizing them still to this day. You goddamn devils, you so-called white people. Right? You Edomites. Revelation 13:9 and 10. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So right here, you already know the legacies of British slave ownership. You goddamn devils. That's you. You can't say it's not. He that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And now you so-called white people are getting exposed. Now we just gotta wait for you to go into slavery and get put down. This is Ezekiel 25 and 12. Thus saith the Lord power, because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them. And that vengeance, that revenge, is when you sold us your birthright. You can never get over that. So what'd you do? You try to take it by putting us in slavery, taking away our identity, trying to claim to be us, the Israelites, calling yourself a Jew. Mainly this devil, Rothschild. All right. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it. And I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord, which is what's going to happen in these race wars real soon. And then moreover, when the Lord's elect are raised and given that spiritual power, and in the kingdom, we ain't gonna let our foot off that whole 1,000 years of hardcore slavery. It's gonna be all gas, no brakes, except for on the Sabbath. Other than that, you're gonna be getting tortured, terrorized every damn day. Let me bring this out of why the whole reason why we even went into slavery in the first place, right? Because the so-called white man, his whole society is built upon us being slaves for him, building it for this goddamn devil. All right, look all these legacies, commercial firms, people of interest. You could keep looking at all these companies in Britain. Insurance companies, London Insurance, West India merchants, so merchants out on the islands, Benjamin, Alfred Home and Foreign Life Assurance, Mutual Annuity Association, insurance companies, bankers, Glasgow Union Banking Company. Those are the commercial interests. What, 668 individuals from 1,200 records. People of interest. See, these so-called white people getting exposed. All right. Let me read this. Deuteronomy 28:15. And it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. All right? And our people are cursed, because no matter what we do, we can't get out from under this goddamn devil until we return to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's the only thing we can do. You can try to start a revolution, get guns and fight the so-called white man. You're gonna lose every battle. You could try to change the so-called white man, do a protest, change it from within, like a lot of you idiots think you can do that. That's just gonna make you even more of a devil. All right. The only way we can get out of this is returning unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, coming back to your nationality. And let me read verse 41. All right. It says, thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. All right, and that's what's happening to our people for how many generations? It says this goddamn devil's been in the power. You have children, they're slaves to this damn devil. Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And that, that's, everybody knows that scripture. So I'll read a couple more articles. This devil. David Cameron's ancestors that owned slaves. British Prime Minister David Cameron is among some of the famous Britons distantly related to people involved in the slave trade. Research conducted, the British government paid around £20 million to compensate thousands of slave owners lost their property. So yeah, that pretty much says what we say, what I just explained in the other article. This is just another example of a devil. All right, there was over 4,000 pounds, 3 million a day for 198 slaves, 189 slaves. So these guys are living it up. Off of who? You Israelites. You mainly Benjamin was the main tribe that these guys are running. Right, the French was really dealing with Loya, the Levites. But, all the tribes, they're dealing with all the tribes, these damn devils. All right, so with that, death to America, death to you damn devils, you elites. You think you're gonna come with your new world order? You're gonna be destroyed. The Most High is gonna throw you down. You're gonna be our slaves real soon. All right, brothers. All right, shalom.